Welcome to day 5 of Codevember using Elm. So if you caught yesterday's stream, we had some problems with cores for the Color Lovers API. And I just wanted to show real quickly I was able to fix that later after the stream using this website, crossorigin.me. And it's basically just a cores proxy for GET requests. So using that, I was able to, you can see the diff here, I was able to fix up yesterday's project so that it would actually hit the live API. So I just wanted to show that briefly before we got started today. So let's jump in. So let's make a folder for day 5, and we already have our Elm package set up from the previous days. I'm just using this same project for all of Codevember. And today we're actually going to try using another new Elm package. And it's one of the animation packages. Whoops. Let's see. So we want a new file, main.elm. And we're going to start off with our basic using the graphics.render package. And we're going to need colors. And main is going to be graphics.render. Oh, we want to expose everything from here. So we're going to have a group. We'll have a rectangle. We'll use color.rgb to make a rectangle. Then we will make an SVG element. And let's see, rectangle is expecting 2 arguments. Right. We make our rectangle and then we solid fill it. Alright, so that should be our starting program. So then I've been using ElmLive, which I installed with npm. And today we're using day5/main.elm. Alright. And there is our starting app. Alright. So I wanted to kind of get up a little basic scene here and then add some animations to it. So let's start out with the basic scene. So I kind of have a vague idea in mind, just with some colors and some lines and circles. I'm going to go ahead and sketch that out. So first I'm going to fill the whole screen. With a background color. So it's going to be like a bright red. Actually, I'm going to pull up my color picker. So let's get kind of on the orangish side of red. And fairly bright. Maybe here. Let's see how this goes. I'm just going to copy these numbers. And I forgot my comma there. Oh, we don't need this gray square anymore. Alright, so there's our base color. Then I also want like a really light color. So this, we're going to have a few lines, and for that we make a segment, if I'm remembering the API correctly. And let's see. And it takes 2 points. And then we have a solid converts to line. Hey Epic Ninja, welcome to, Epic Ninja Elephant, welcome to the chat. Alright, so we're gonna draw a line on here. Solid, let's make it fairly thick. And this will be our color. Okay, so I actually want it to go from negative 250 to 250. Why? Cool. And then I want it to kind of tilt the other direction. And maybe a little bit more. And also maybe get it thicker. There we go. Cool. So let's add a few more of these. And actually I'm going to extract this to a function. I'll call it a diag line. And I also want this to take an x position. And we will stick the x in there. And then, let's see, let's have one at maybe negative 30. Yeah, that's pretty good. So let's add a few more of these. Cool. And actually, let's shift all of these over. I'm just, I guess, going to stick these in a group. And move them by negative 50, I think. There we go. Cool. Then I want to add a few circles here, which in the graphics.render package is ellipse with a width and height. So let's try 30. And we're going to have a color for this. And I want kind of a light green. Let's see. Maybe like this. Let's try this color. Okay. Cool. So that's good. And what I'd like to do also is extract this to a function. Let's call it a circle. Grab this. And this will be a circle. And we're going to also want an X and a Y on here. So let's put this at maybe 2050. And then we're going to draw that, and then we'll move it by the X and Y amount. And let's see, I want that higher. There we go. And let's also add a size here, or a scale. And this, for the 30s, we'll take the scale times that. Cool. And then let's add a circle that's like 0.8. Zero, 0. Actually smaller than that. And we'll have that at maybe 60, negative 80. Oh, more than that. let's have maybe a smaller one at, let's see, like 250, 100. And maybe one more large circle at, let's say, negative 20, 120. Well, let's maybe move it farther over. Cool. Well, let's start with that for now, and maybe we can randomize the circles and lines later on. So what I want to do next is add animations to this when it starts up. So I want to take a look at using this package that mgold elm animation that Max wrote. And Max is the guy who also has been working on the Elm test package with Richard Feldman. Alright, so let's first install this package. And I'm going to start ElmLive back up. Hey Tweeku, welcome to the chat. How's it going? Alright, so basic usage. So what does this do? We've got animation 0 from 100 to 300 with a duration. I'm doing pretty good. Trying to take it easy this weekend and do a little coding. Still got to do some last minute research for the local election that's coming up. We've got tons of ballot propositions to vote on in California. Alright, so the from and to values makes sense. There's a duration, that makes sense. There's a delay. I'm not sure what this 0 means. And what does this do overall? This.map, okay, then it uses animate with a time and takes the animation. Okay, so let's see what animation 0 does. Creates an animation that begins at the given time. Ah, okay, got it. So let's, we're going to need our animation state for this. So in order to animate, we're going to eventually get a time value that we're going to need to pass in here. So we'll have a line animation. Let's see, I didn't import this yet. So let's just import everything and see if we run into problems. And we're going to make an animation 0, starting at 0. And these are the values. So I want to have these lines animate down as they come in. So that's going to be, let's see, where did we define the lines? Here. So the height is 250. So we're going to go from 0 to, actually we're going to go from negative 250 to positive 250. And I guess we need a duration. Duration is going to be And that's what they were importing from the time package. Time. So the duration, I guess, is going to be 1 second. I'm just going to write that in milliseconds. So let's have like 700 milliseconds for the duration. Then, for this, we're basically going to move this. And I guess actually we can have this go from negative 500 to 0, since that'll be the delta in what we're moving. So we'll move it by 0x, and for the y we will have animate, and we'll give it a time, and then the animation. Okay, and then as we change this value, the lines should come in. Cool. Great. So now we need to actually get the time. So to do that, we're going to use a subscription and convert our main into a program. So we've been doing this pretty much every day. We have our main. This is now going to become a view. It takes a model, and then our main is going to be HTML app.program with an init. And our initial model, I'm not sure what that's going to be yet. No commands, subscriptions equals sub.none, update equals update, and view equals view. And we don't have an update function defined, so I'll just write one inline. And we need to import HTML app. And okay, so there's our program. Now, our model is going to have time, which will be an int. I guess we can use the alias for time, which we'll get from the time package. Sorry, the time module. And then in here, this is going to be model.time. Then we need to start this with time equals 0. And our update function should, for now, always return the model. Okay. So now we want to actually subscribe to the time. And there's the time.every subscription, which gives the current time. Okay, so every takes first how often it fires, then the message. So let's define our message type. Type message, and we'll have a tick, which takes a time. And then we're going to subscribe to time.every. Every 100 milliseconds for now, let's say. We are going to produce a tick. And then our update function, we need to write. Update takes a message and a model. And if we get a tick message, then our model is going to change to have time equal to new time. And then we also have no commands. And it doesn't like our main, I am just going to restart the ElmLive dev server. Cool. And that fixed it. All right. So now the problem is we want our animation to start at the time that our app starts, rather than at time 0, which was back in 1970. So here, I think we want to do this. Let's make this into a maybe time. And the first tick, okay, so we'll start out with nothing in our model. And then we need to convert this, and we'll say case model.time of, and if we have nothing, meaning we haven't found out what time it is from the first tick yet, then we'll just draw nothing. And otherwise, if we get a time, then we will go into here. And then, let's see, so the animation, we also, I see. So actually we can keep the time, well actually that's fine. We're going to need a start time also, which is also going to be a maybe time. And here we'll say if start time equals nothing, then so on this first tick, we're going to set both the time and the start time. And this is model.startTime. Then here, we also need the start time to equal nothing, just initialize. And then we will case off of this. Actually, there's kind of some duplication here. So we can actually now just keep this as a time, and using the start time we can calculate the relative time relative to when our app started. And then we won't have to do calculations in our view. So let's do that. So we're going to start the time at 0. And actually now we can get rid of this whole case that I just put in there. And then our update is all that's going to have to change. So that's kind of nice. So our start time is, oops, that's the wrong one. I'm going to flip the order of these. So when we get the first tick, we'll set the start time and we'll set our time to 0. Then from then on, the new time minus the start time is going to be the time that we store in the model. And that means we're going to have to do a case statement here. If we get nothing, we'll do that, and if we get just a start time, then we will subtract that start time to figure out the relative time within the app. And let's see, what is it not like about this? I'm missing a closing bracket somewhere. It's looking for a closing bracket. Model time equals new time. Oh, I'm missing actually this arrow. There we go. Cool. So let's increase the speed of this. So let's run this maybe every 30 milliseconds. There we go. That's a bit smoother. Great. And I actually want this this line animation. I want the X position to also animate. So that should be animating from let's see, I think I'm just going to put these in here. So this is going to be the line X animation, or sorry, the line Y animation. And the line, whoops, there we go. This is going to be the line X animation. And we'll do the same thing, but it's going to go from 50 to 0. This is going to animate model.time of line X animation. Yeah, there we go. Great. And I'm actually gonna, let's see, I'm gonna put a little delay in here also. Maybe 500 milliseconds. There we go. Cool. So that's a good start. I actually want to have those staggered a little bit later on, but I want to move to doing the circles. Oh, actually, let's see. First, I'd like to check on easing here. Oh, whoops, I'm in the wrong package. Let's look in the animation docs. Oh yeah, and let's see, what did it say was the default easing? Sinusoidal easing. Oh great, actually that's a good default. Let's see what this looks like again. Get the easing function of the animation, okay. And here's ease, okay. And I think there's a separate package for the easing to give us our different choices. Easing functions. And yeah, these are all functions from float to float. So let's look up, let's see, an easing functions cheat sheet. Great. So can we see one of these? Let's see, so the sinusoidal one is the, oh, interesting. Ah, probably this one is the one that we get by default. So yeah, I'd like something faster. I kind of like the feel of that one. The quintic easing. Do we even have quint? There we go. So we want to use in-out quint from the Elm community easing function. Easing functions package. So let's install that. Cool. And then this is the package, the module is ease. So then we want to import ease. And on both of these, we want to ease with ease.inoutQuint. And then we want to start up our ElmLive again. And restart this. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So now that we've got our easing, let's animate our circles. So I want the size of the circles to also animate. So let's make a circle size animation. That'll be an animation starting at 0. Oh, actually, we didn't need to put our delay. We can just put 500 directly in the animation. All right, so back to our circle animation. So let's start these a little bit later at like 800. And we're going to go from 0 to 1, and with a duration of maybe 200 milliseconds. And we want to ease with like a bouncing animation. Do we have one of those? In, out, bounce? I don't think we want in, out, bounce. I want the one where, yeah, we want the out bounce. Maybe. We might want the elastic. Do we have an elastic in here? We do. Out elastic or out bounce. Let's try the out bounce first. And then we want to use that for the scale factor. So I'm going to use a let statement in here because we need it for multiple places. Actually, this is the same thing in both places. So I'm going to change this to size. And then for the size, we're also now going to multiply by this animated value, which will take model.time and animate with our circle size animation. Cool. I think this should start a bit later. So we're starting here, so this line's animation is done at 1200. So let's go to 1500 maybe. Cool, and I am going to increase the frame rate a little bit. Put this at 20 milliseconds. And yeah, let's try the elastic instead of the bounce. That's super fast. Maybe we can slow this down. Yeah, okay, that looked a little better. Cool. So there's our basic animation. What I'd like to do is put some offsets onto here and have, for instance, each line come in a little bit later and each circle come in a little bit later. So I think we can just take this base animation and delay it based off of some offset that we pass in. So I'm going to try putting this in here. So this first line will be offset by 0, and each one subsequently by more. and I'll call that del since there's a function called delay. So here, I'm going to take the animation and delay it by some amount. So let's say maybe 50 milliseconds per line. So this will be 50 times del. And then we'll do the same delay for this. Yeah, great. Cool, I actually like that. I hope it's coming through well on the stream. But here, live, it looks pretty good. And now let's add delays for the circles also. And circle is also going to have a del, and then the circle animation we're going to delay by del times, yeah, maybe 50 again. Cool. Well, great. I'm actually happy with that. I was thinking about maybe doing randomness again, but we've kind of been doing that every day. So actually, I think I am just going to leave this here, and maybe on a future normal ElmLive down the road, after Codevember is over, maybe I'll come back and do some additional features to some of these Codevember projects. But I kind of wanted to keep today short. So thanks for tuning in. Tomorrow we will be having a normal full ElmLive. We will be doing a Codevember project also, but I'm going to be planning to be streaming for maybe about 2 hours or so, starting at 11:30 Pacific tomorrow. Oh, and it's also daylight savings time, changing tonight for us in California, so I will try to double check what time 11:30 here corresponds to for the rest of y'all. And tomorrow we're going to be trying out some WebGL stuff in Elm and trying to learn about doing some 3D graphics so we can do some fancier Codevember stuff for the rest of the month. So thanks for tuning in, and good to see you in the chat, Twiku. And I will see all the rest of you next time. Bye.